Welcome to Philanthropy in Focus, where we shine a light on the people and organizations making a difference in our communities. From executive leaders to frontline team members, each episode offers an inside look at the mission, challenges, and opportunities shaping the nonprofit sector today. Whether you're a donor, volunteer, or simply looking to connect with causes that matter, this series is designed to inform and inspire, reflecting Heritage's commitment to helping families align their wealth with purpose and impact. I'm your host, Carrie Miller, Director of Philanthropy and Business Development at Heritage Wealth Advisors, and today we are honored to be joined by our very own Sarah Simmer, Managing Director of Client Experience at Heritage and Chair of the Carnegie Museum of Natural History Advisory Board, and our special guest, Lisa Keller, Director of Advancement at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. Lisa, Sarah, thanks so much for being here.
We're so excited to be here.
Well, I thought that this would be a fun way, a new dynamic on PIF to, do a new duo for this conversation. So Sarah's role on the advisory board gives her such a unique vantage point. And Lisa, your leadership and advancement and a fellow recovering grateful patient fundraiser is vital to bringing the museum's mission to life. So let's dive right in. Lisa, let's start with you. For listeners who may not be familiar, could you share a little about the Carnegie Museum of Natural History and the role it plays not only in Pittsburgh, but across the broader region?
Yeah, sure. So the Carnegie Museum of Natural History was founded in 1895 by Andrew Carnegie. He founded the Art Museum and the Natural History Museum. And the idea, he wanted to bring the world to Pittsburgh. That's what he said, because people couldn't really travel. And so he modeled it after the European Cabinet's Curiosities, and he funded expeditions to go gather fossils and bones and pieces of art and lots of bugs. And so now we have 22 million specimens in our collection that we care for. And the part that I think that most people don't know about is that we also have a very active scientific team doing research that contributes to the global scientific community. For example, our botanist Mason has in his collection pieces of like a what word just totally left my brain? A plant from 1800 that was collected in like 1895, and then 100 years later in the same exact spot, a plant from today, and he can look at it and see what's happening, what change in climate is doing to these plants. And like that is an incredibly important snapshot in time that we care and collect for.
Nice. Thanks for that context. I love that they were trying to bring the world to Pittsburgh. That's so perfect. I'd love to go a little deeper. Every organization has moments that speak to its true impact. Is there a program, milestone, or personal story that you feel especially proud to highlight?
Well, speaking of bringing the world to Pittsburgh, we just opened a new exhibition called Stories We Keep, Bringing the World to Pittsburgh. It's the second in our Stories We Keep series. The first was all around conserving ancient objects from Egypt. And this one is the new iteration, which opened at the beginning of November, is all about why we collect, how we collect, and care for our collections. We're really excited. We have a visible conservation lab that the science team is going to take turns working and showing the public a little bit of what happens behind the scenes and how the museum is more than just the little tiny bit of the collection that you see on display.
Nice. And can I just a step further at the opening of the exhibit? There was a brunch, and one of the other board members was ecstatic to realize that the connection in one of the photos from many of the exhibitions up in Canada, Ontario, and Native Indigenous people exhibitions, and they the shot of the photo she recognized immediately because her family has traveled up there for a significant amount of time, and that's tied back into the Pittsburgh connection to that area. When it started with, you had a fishing lake up there, and then that started as a jump-off spot for these exhibitions. And it's just so cool to be able to see that personal connection through the years. She was so surprised and delighted and excited to tell everyone there about it. It was very sweet.
She stood in that corner of the exhibition for like a really long time, looking at the photos. It was really sweet.
So I haven't been yet, but I've heard that the gemstone collection is really neat. Do you have a favorite collection though, or like exhibit?
I thought you meant gem. Yeah, I was like, oh, on the spot.
That's a really good question. My favorites are the things that aren't on view, actually.
Oh.
We have, I think actually they might be in Bringing the World to Pittsburgh, but there's Chinese, they were bones, and they're oracle bones. And so like in ancient Chinese culture, they would throw the bones down and how they broke would tell your future. And we have these beautiful set of like oracle bones. And
wow.
They are on display briefly at the Bringing the World to Pittsburgh Stories We Keep. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you have a favorite?
Oh, it's hard. My kids loved the gemstone collection, so that is their favorite. But we did a tour recently, and again, it's not on display, and it's hard to explain to folks, but within the exhibit that's currently there are a lot of good photos and videos that show what's called the alcohol house. It's a separate building where all of the specimens, so the reptiles that would need to be kept in like alcohol for preservation are kept because of it's so flammable, right? So it was intentionally set to be separate from the museum. And there are these not just jars of snakes and frogs and reptiles. There are also a lot of these kind of metal tubs that are filled with, all right, Lisa, I'm going to butcher it, but it's the largest freshwater turtle. Collection in North America or
I believe it's North America.
Okay. Okay. Which for Pittsburgh just seems kind of like I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of it is that you watch these scientists, so the curator and collections manager of these specimens, they just reach in and pull out a turtle that was found in 1975, and you can touch the turtle. But the important part is that then it's used for research. So you can go back and scientists and themselves, they can use that for research. But it's hysterical to watch because it's just like, you want to see this giant toad? Let me pull it out of this jar.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Wow. Huh. Well, that's unique. So for those who are listening and feel inspired, Sarah, what are meaningful ways people can get involved, whether through volunteering, giving, attending programs, or even just spreading the word? And Lisa, I'm sure Lisa can help here.
Yeah. I will let Lisa do a lot of the work here, but I think it's exploring the exhibits, appreciating the museum, and not being afraid to ask from the education staff, the employees that are there, ask for more, because there's so much to uncover if you just can start exploring. And so memberships are a great way to do that. But Lisa, I'll let you maybe share a little bit more.
Yeah, we of course have volunteers, but we also have a lot of really, really great public programming. There's the Moriarty lecture. It's once a month. It's at noon on Mondays or in the evening. We're trying that out, where scientists come in and give a lecture, and you can ask questions. We've started doing these community fests 3 times a year. So there's Wintertide is coming up in December, and then there will be a Nature Fest in March and Dino Fest in June, which is always a big hit. And we have a nature reserve outside of Ligonier called Powder Mill. It's our field station, and you can go up there. They do bird banding, and they do open houses where you can get to see how the bird banding, like the active research, is happening. And they also do an owl prowl. So they catch owls in the mist nets, and you can go up and watch them band the owls, which is very fun. And we also have an affinity group called the Discoverers. You can become a Discoverer. And we have science lectures, but then receptions where the science team comes in. We do some behind-the-scene tours, so you can go see Alcohol House and see the things in jars.
That's the way to get those. Yeah. If you want to touch a turtle from whatever period, that Discoverers group lets in, because there's even more than just what we spoke about with the Alcohol House or what Lisa was referencing earlier. There's a lot of little behind-the-scenes nooks. Another favorite is the invertebrate zoology
Oh, yes.
section, and there's the little, if you go back and watch Silence of the Lambs, it's where they go and find the big moth, and it looks
where they're
like this
playing
giant
chess.
old
Oh,
library.
it's in there?
It's in the movie.
Oh.
It's just a really cool architectural like analysis as well, or view as well.
Wow. Well, Lisa, what would you say is the museum's greatest need right now, and how can supporters make the most meaningful difference?
I would say, so we are in the quiet part of a campaign, and we have 3 pillars of support. The first is reimagining the museum experience, all of the exhibitions, trying to, freshen up and redo some of that space that's open to the public. But one of the pillars, we have informatics. So of the 22 million specimens on collection, we only have about a fourth of them digitized, which really stops us from being able to truly contribute to the research community scientifically. And so that is an undertaking. That's a big project of ours. And then the third is just advancing our natural history research and its endowments for science and helping the science staff.
That is incredibly helpful. Sarah, from your perspective as advisory board chair, what stands out to you as the most important opportunity for supporters right now?
Right. Of those 3 pillars that Lisa just took us through, we've been, lucky to get a lot of traction on. I say lucky, and I smile, look at Lisa, because I know how much hard work's gone into securing grants and the ability for us to make a lot of headway on the exhibits, the goals related to new exhibitions, and the museum overall. But those endowments for research really are, I think that's the biggest thing that people don't know about what's going on at the museum, is that there is a large amount of active research, and the importance to what some of that is, for going back to the example Lisa gave about the work Mason Heberling's doing and the ability to understand how flowers are blooming differently and how that might impact our overall ecosystem. I think that's really where a lot of the needs come in, are endowing the ability to continue doing that important work.
Yeah. And to guarantee that you can do it for the next 120 years.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So speaking of community engagement, Lisa, what's one question you wish donors would ask you?
Oh, what a good question. We always want donors just to ask, where can I give? What is the greatest area of need?
Yeah.
I also wish donors, I love when they ask about the behind the scenes things. Mm-hmm. I think it's so unique, all the things that we do that is not what you think of when you think of the museum. And I love when donors are curious about those aspects of the work that's happening.
I bet that's how Sarah found herself as chair of the advisory board.
Yes, you saw me
asking a lot of questions.
Asking a lot of questions. And I think it comes back. You mentioned the cabinets of curiosity. I mean, it all started with a curiosity, and it led to this collection. Mm-hmm. And to be able to keep it going, we get people that are curious about, what are some things you need funding for right now, right? And it's like not anything that anyone would want to put their name on, or like it's not quote unquote sexy work, but it's like necessary, mm-hmm. And they're excited to fund like that type of necessary, be it cleaning something or some other level of like care for the mm-hmm. collection. So it's just an interesting.
Well, at Heritage, one of our values is curiosity, and so this was a perfect interview to fuel that need. And Lisa, thank you for being with us today and for sharing more about the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. And Sarah, thanks for lending your insight as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We will, for those who want to learn more or get involved, we've included links in the show notes. And I'm Carrie Miller, and this has been another fun episode of Philanthropy in Focus. See you next time.